Luke. Good to see you. We have a lot of end of year business. And as you know already, the clock is ticking on those 2022 conversions. So if somebody's considering converting an IRA to a Roth in 2022, we're going to break down everything that they need to know. But let's start with those deadlines, because it's a big misconception about conversions that they can be done up until the tax filing deadline, but that's not right.
Correct. So the Roth conversion must be done in the calendar year of your tax year. So you cannot backdate a Roth conversion. You have to make sure that is done. If you're planning a Roth conversion for 2022, it must be done during the calendar year 2022.
Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about how this works, because if I do convert my IRA to a Roth, I'm probably going to be facing a pretty big tax bill this year, right?
Maybe, right? It's going to depend on what your other income sources are. Now, likely for those of us that are employing a Roth conversion strategy, the reasoning would be because you do have a sizable IRA account. And so what you're looking at doing is paying the tax rates now when you know what your tax bracket is versus kicking it down the road and taking those distributions later when we're not sure what the tax brackets are going to be. By most estimations, when you factor in the US debt and everything else that's going on, as you can see on your screen, that debt is not getting any smaller. It's not helped by the interest rate changes. So most people are of the opinion that our tax brackets in the future will be less favorable than they are now.
Okay. So if I'm trying to determine then if a Roth conversion is right for me, what do I need to consider?
So you definitely need to consider your other income sources. That's going to be the big one. You want to make sure if you're doing a conversion, you're not necessarily throwing yourself into a top end tax bracket. What your expected incomes are each year is going to be the main determining factor there. You're also going to want to factor how much time you have left until you need to start taking required minimum distributions. Obviously, that age is 72 now, but all of those different income sources and different types of investment accounts are going to factor into whether or not it makes sense for you to do a Roth conversion. As a quick example, if you are over 59 and a half, you're retired, but you're not taking your Social Security yet, you can probably do a more sizable conversion versus someone who has already elected their Social Security because of that taxable income number.
Okay. Just to talk about one more common misconception, that we are necessarily going to be in a lower tax rate when we retire. That's not always the case.
Not always the case. Now, if you've retired here recently or in the past couple years, maybe that's worked out extremely well in your favor, where you were able to defer taxes through some more competitive tax year or some more, higher tax brackets in the past versus what we have now. Now, historically, the current tax brackets that we sit in are some of the lowest that we've seen when you go back a century plus here in the United States. And so from a marginal tax bracket perspective, right now, I would argue that taxes are a lot more favorable than they've been in the past and likely more favorable than they will be in the future.
All right. So a lot to consider as far as conversions go, but again, this is just that gentle reminder that if you're considering this, to do it now. So look, if somebody did want to talk to you about figuring out if a conversion is right for them for 2022, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, as we get towards the end of the year here, obviously required minimum distributions are a big piece of people wanting to make sure that they get their RMDs out before the end of the year. I always kind of put Roth conversions right on there. Just because you're taking RMDs doesn't mean that you can't also do a conversion, but at the same time, both things that you want to get sorted before the end of the calendar year. So if they want to come in and talk it over with us, as always, they can reach us at our website at iconberryretirement.com. Schedule an appointment right there on our homepage or reach us by phone 937-498-1128, and we'd be happy to see you.
Great. Okay. Luke, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.